My name is Jason, and I grew up in the shadow of a brother who could do no wrong. To my father, Michael was the golden sun, while I was nothing more than a disappointment. I thought time would change his opinion, but one cruel sentence made it clear. I'd never be man enough in his eyes. Fathers are supposed to lift you, to push you toward greatness. Mine? He crushed me with his words. You'll never be brave enough to run this business. That sentence burned into me like fire. Meanwhile, he handed every opportunity to my brother Michael. This identical brother had no ambition, no discipline, and no sense of responsibility. But what my father didn't realize was that those words wouldn't break me. They would build me into something he never imagined. Wait a second. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments, and make sure to subscribe for more powerful and inspiring stories just like this one. Growing up, I was the hardworking son. I studied late, learned the ropes of our family business, and cared about every detail. Michael, on the other hand, coasted through life. He partied, skipped work, and relied on charm to get by. But in my father's eyes, Michael was untouchable. He was the golden child, and I was the shadow. I believed that if I worked hard enough, Dad would eventually see my worth. So I spent my weekends at the shop, learning everything I could: inventory, customer service, even bookkeeping. By the time I was 23, I knew the business inside out. Still, it wasn't enough. One evening, while sitting at the dinner table, my father looked me in the eyes. He said it plainly. "Jason, you'll never be brave enough to run this business." My heart cracked, but my resolve hardened. From that day on, I vowed to prove him wrong. If he thought Michael was the future, so be it. I would carve my own path. I started small, taking a second job, saving every penny, and sketching ideas for a business of my own. Nights were long and lonely, but each sacrifice fueled my determination. Meanwhile, Michael began running the family business. It didn't take long for cracks to show. He mismanaged money, neglected employees, and spent more time on vacations than at work. Customers left, suppliers grew frustrated, and the reputation my grandfather had built began to crumble. I watched, quietly, never saying, "I told you so." Instead, I kept building. I launched my own small venture, an offshoot in the same industry, but with modern strategies, better customer care, and innovations my father had once mocked. Slowly, my business grew. Clients who once trusted my father's shop began calling me. The turning point came when I landed a significant contract that my father's business desperately needed. For the first time, people in the community weren't talking about Michael. They were talking about me. Still, my father clung to denial, insisting it was luck. But denial can't pay bills, and soon his empire was collapsing. The final blow came when the bank repossessed parts of the family business. My father's dream was unraveling, all thanks to the son he had trusted unquestioningly. In desperation, he came to me, not with pride, but with shame. His words, once filled with cruelty, were now heavy with regret. "I was wrong," he admitted. "You were always the one capable of leading." Hearing those words didn't heal the years of pain, but they did validate the truth I'd always known. My brother stood silently, his golden glow tarnished by failure. The room was thick with irony. The son my father had doubted was now the only one standing tall. Today, I run a thriving business built on resilience, innovation, and hard work. Values my father once dismissed. My brother still struggles, drifting from one failed venture to another. My father, humbled by the truth, finally sees me for who I am, though the scars of his doubt remain. I don't carry anger anymore. Instead, I have the lesson that sometimes the most profound betrayals ignite the brightest fires. My father's cruelty shaped me into the man I became, not by lifting me, but by trying to hold me down. So I'll leave you with this. What would you do if your own father told you that you'd never be good enough? Would you break under the weight or rise above it? Tell me in the comments which country and city you're watching from. Take care.